How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. If you're just tuning in, make sure you give a thumbs up to the video because that helps the YouTube algorithm. It tells YouTube that my channel is good. If you want to use the super chat, your comment will appear above everyone else's. So if you donate at least $5, your comment will pop right up on top. Always appreciated. And the subject of today's live stream is to elaborate on the discussion about the false equivalence between condemning Antifa and condemning neo-Nazis. Which group is worse? Is there even a debate there? And general conversation, North Korea, obviously, because that's pretty much dominating the news cycle right now. And so I'm actually contemplating heading back out to Seoul, but we'll talk about that. So first, let me pop back over to the live dashboard. And the tweet is out. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I can see your comments popping up already. There's something that I wanted to talk about. When I make these videos on YouTube, there's only so much I can say. Often, the videos are over 10 minutes long, and I try to keep them around 10 minutes. If I just talked, I mean, look, I do these live streams for over an hour, and I could probably go on a lot longer, so I cut them down to try and make them fit what YouTube wants people to do, and also keep it within like a timely, concise enough, right? So for those that aren't familiar, the YouTube algorithm pretty much dictates who's going to succeed on YouTube or not. And so right now what YouTube really likes are videos that are over 10 minutes. And so I'm trying to hit that mark. If I just talked, it'd be a lot shorter. I did an interview today about digital rights and some really terrifying authoritarian government stuff with a digital privacy lawyer who handles a lot of the stuff. And that'll be up tomorrow. I'll hit this super chat real quick. Sam H. Puff says, hi. How's it going, man? Thanks for the super chat. Starting off really great with the super chats. Let's talk about Antifa. Right? We've been talking about Antifa a lot. And I tweeted out that simply because we condemn Antifa does not mean we are condoning Nazis. And this is what the defenders of Antifa try to do, which is not an argument, all right? So many of the people who are paying attention, be it on the left or the right, and they see this violence, this harassment, this abuse, and they say, wow, that stuff's really bad. And the immediate response from many of those who support Antifa is they immediately go, yeah, but Nazis. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Stare long into the abyss, and the abyss stares back, right? Be careful when fighting monsters, lest ye become a monster. If you think that we are going to tolerate violence against the elderly, against innocent bystanders, like literally tolerate violence at all, simply because there's another group that is worse, that's not an argument at all, okay? We have to be able to call out all of the bad actors. And so I had this guy tweeting at me earlier saying, but Tim, why aren't you condemning the far right? I have. Yeah, after Charlottesville, right? During and after Charlottesville, I put out a bunch of tweets, some opinions about what I thought about the rally. And he said, but why aren't you still doing it? And to that, my response was, because we haven't seen an event from the far right where they've gone out beating innocent people. Like, I'm criticizing Antifa pretty heavily, because they were just in Berkeley beating random and innocent people to the point where the mainstream media and many left-wing outlets have condemned, or I should say left-wing personalities, have condemned their actions. Trevor Noah, The Daily Show, condemned their actions, right? So a lot of people, they seem to they're not paying attention. And that's the easiest way to put it. I make videos, they don't watch them. So I've got evidence to back this up, right? I made a video where I was talking about the false equivalence today, the video I did today, the false equivalence between, Antifa and Nazis. And I have a bunch of far lefties commenting as if my video was defending Antifa. Why? Because they didn't watch it, right? Let me make sure this is, yeah. So this is what ends up happening. I make a video with an ambiguous title about some subject matter, and then people on the far left immediately assume the video must be right-wing, which literally makes no sense. And then when I make a video titled, the false equivalence, not Nazis versus Antifa, I had a bunch of people on the left saying like, yes, that's absolutely right. Then Antifa is great. And I'm like, no, the video is actually condemning Antifa, right? The false equivalence that I'm bringing up is that when we condemn Antifa, we get a ton of people saying we're equating them to Nazis, which, no, I'm not, at least. I know some people are. So let's hit some of these comments if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, we can run on my treadmill. It's not a very good treadmill. It was super cheap, but it gets the job done. So the other thing that we can talk about today is North Korea, because they fired a missile, an intermediate ballistic missile over the northern Japan, and now they're claiming to have a miniaturized hydrogen bomb that can be mounted onto a warhead. And then we are hearing now about this seismic test that just took place in North Korea, or I should say the H-bomb test that the seismologists have noticed. And this is what's really scary now. Somebody yelled to Donald Trump as he was leaving a meeting. They said, "Will you attack North Korea?" And he said, "We'll see." That's pretty scary, right? Are we going to war? Well, it seems like a lot of the allies of North Korea and these other, I guess I should say everybody is concerned over what might happen now. But Donald Trump is saying he wants to cut off trade with any country that is doing trade with North Korea, which is just probably not possible. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat. I see Nathan Marcano. Tim, can I quote you for speech debate purposes? Depends on what you mean by that. I mean, I say things, you can tell people I said them, right? Nick Coleman, your old place looked nicer. No way. You just can't see everything because you're only seeing one little spot. But I got this cool little thing set up with I got a bunch of art on the wall. You can't actually see it. Free in Text asks if you're blocked. Nope, you are not blocked. And no, I don't sleep with my hat on. All right, so Jenny Case in the super chat, discuss Antifa is similar to Bill Ayers' group, etc. I don't, Bill Ayers I'm pretty sure he's the Weather Underground guy. And he, they were committing a bunch of bombings and other terror attacks, opposing the Vietnam War. And this guy, he's old, he's 72. I don't think they're necessarily the same thing, right? They're fairly different. But it's always hard to compare the past to the present. People like to say Nazis are worse. Okay, so I put out this tweet saying, yes, Nazis are worse than Antifa, but Antifa is still bad. The issue is Nazis, in the literal sense, are 90-year-olds in Argentina right now. There's very few actual Nazis left. Some of them are being prosecuted and going to prison. Yeah, some of them are still alive. So this is what I mean. Yes, the literal idea of Nazis and World War II, they're very, very bad people. Probably the worst, right? Communists are also really, 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 really bad. Possibly the worst. I think in terms of we look at the Holocaust as one of the most abhorrent things humanity's ever done. That and, their allies, like we saw the Japanese research teams committing horrible experiments against human beings. And we look at that and we view it as very callous and amoral. And although communism is almost as bad or arguably worse, I think when it comes to Antifa as this small fringe group in the U.S. which is going around punching people, it's they're not worse than Nazis. It depends on how you're defining what these words mean. Antifa was, they were communists, right, in Nazi Germany, and they were causing a lot of violence. And now we see these wannabes. So I guess you can call them neo-Antifa, if that makes more sense. Regardless, I think a bunch of people going around and punching people and beating them is bad, but I don't think it's as bad as what the Nazis are associated with. So we can say, this is what's crazy. I can flat out say neo-Nazis are really bad and Antifa is really bad. I'm not going to argue if neo-Nazis are worse than Antifa, because there's an argument to be made that neo-Nazis are kind of minding their own business. There are a lot of white supremacists and far-right extremists who go out and kill people, and they're really, really bad. What we saw in Charlottesville is really, really bad. But then we have the argument that Antifa is showing up to political rallies and beating people unprovoked in almost every instance, beating innocent bystanders, accusing anyone of being a Nazi. And they claim that their goal is to make to make it too terrifying to be a Nazi. The issue then becomes, if they're going to call everyone a Nazi, are they saying that they're going to make life terrifying for anyone who doesn't agree with them? In which case, that's terrorism. Observer 101, how likely is a war with North Korea? When I ask the journalists that I'm friends with who follow North Korea and deal with this, they tell me that, yeah, it's never going to happen. Saber rattling, but too many interests in the region just want to avoid war. And what happens is North Korea, they do this saber rattling, right? They say, we've got a nuke, you better. And so then what happens is South Korea and other countries will send food to appease them. Donald Trump doesn't sound like the kind of person who wants to be appeasing anybody. And so he tweeted out South Korea's appeasement of North Korea isn't going to work, and there's only one thing that will. We'll see what happens. Trade sanctions are on the table. Military options are on the table. I don't know what's going through Trump's mind, but a lot of people view him as kind of impulsive, to say the least. So I guess we'll see what happens. But I'm actually talking with some people about possibly hopping onto a plane and flying to Seoul and just hanging out there. I could do the same thing I'm doing now from Seoul. I could cover the stories daily like I do some commentary and opinion, but also be on the ground and start digging into a little bit more of that stuff. So got another super chat here. Theodore McCarthy popping back over to the communist Antifa discussion. Communists were definitely worse. Holodomor was worse than the Holocaust in terms of lives lost. I'm not knowledgeable on that issue specifically, but I can say that in terms of the amount of people who died under communism, not just in the Soviet Union, but with China and look, communism was widespread. Many more people died due to communism, and you get that argument that the left says communism has never truly existed. These are authoritarian governments, and it's like, yeah. Argue about whatever you want, but every single time it's been tried, either it's been someone lying about it or it just doesn't work, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot of the people who push for communism really do believe in it. My question is, when we see the history of communism, where a bunch of really bad stuff happens, right? Then you get these communists out in the street, these black bloc tactics, these anti-fascists, whatever you're going to call them. People call them anarchists, but no, in my experience, most of the people that have spoken or spoken out are communists. They even have the Soviet flags and Soviet masks. They're also going out and beating people and calling everyone else a Nazi. So when they say that, communism has never really been tried, like the real version of communism, I'm like, they're kind of doing the same thing the other ones did, right? So am I to believe that if these people got in power, they wouldn't go and just beat random people, burn books, and yeah, no, they probably will. Because a lot of people on the left claim they're defending free speech, right? Especially as anti-fascist people. But they're not. They're not defending free speech. They think hate speech is not free. And anybody who wants to restrict the speech of another person is making an authoritative decision. It doesn't mean they're entirely authoritarian, but if you think certain people aren't allowed to do things and you want to empower a large body or organization to take away someone's abilities, that's authoritarian, regardless of what that ability is, right? So to varying degrees, our country is authoritarian. All countries have a degree of authoritarianism. It's just we don't want it to exceed a certain threshold. Let's hit some of these super chats. Cap Strong. The question is, why no charges yet and Charlotte yet? Slam dunk no, but why no charges? Cap Strong, are you talking about Antifa? Are you talking about the white nationalist? That white nationalist guy at the car was charged, I believe, with second degree murder. As for Antifa, I have no idea. We saw many people associated with Antifa are black bloc anarchists, tactics, communists, whatever you want to call it. They're getting pretty heavily charged because of the January 20 protests and rioting that took place in Washington, D.C. We'll see what happens with that. Pre-air MK2. Did you know some news outlets are saying North Korean soldiers are stealing corn from farms because they're too malnourished? Yeah, we've heard a lot of things about North Korea. I talked with some people in South Korea. I actually talked with these. I did this piece for Vice. Actually, yeah, I can pull this up. I did field producing for Vice on this story that did really, really well. It's really fascinating. It's about these New Zealanders, the Kiwis as they call it, who rode their motorcycles through North Korea into South Korea. And it's got 2.8 million views. And the funny thing is, most people don't even know that I was the field producer on this piece. So I'll pop there over a second, but I want to hit these super chats because I got a ton coming in. Mario Rudinsky, so what if the goal of North Korea is to create a nuclear deterrent? They invade South Korea if anyone intervenes. They threaten to or do launch WMDs. That's exactly what North Korea wants to do. They claim that having the nuclear weapons and showing off their might will protect them from the United States and from other threats. One of the biggest concerns is that we know they have weapons. We know they have a very large standing army. If war breaks out, many people in South Korea are going to die. Hit some of these. Geolosifizer. what people need to realize is anyone can start a Holocaust, Holodomor, etc., and most people go along with it unless they recognize, resist that. That's absolutely true. Never forget the saying that these actions were all legal when they took place. Legality is not a good definition. We have to. Watching all these celebrities back Antifa was terrifying because I'm like, here we go. Antifa goes out and commits horrible atrocities, right? Not the worst, sure. The guy ramming the car into people was significantly worse, but they're going around and beating people, splashing people with urine, attacking the elderly, and the media is going to, run cover for them because that's what happens when you see the culture start swinging. Influencers, the high-profile people, just get on board, and that's scary. Justin Force, true communism has never been tried because socialist states fail before they reach communism. Then, communism doesn't necessarily work, right? It doesn't necessarily make sense. There will come a point, like if you watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, there will come a point where we're going to have a different kind of economy, right? The jobs are disappearing. They're going to disappear. They're not going to be replaced as quickly as they're disappearing. And that's bad news for the way our economy works. People do work. They get paid. But eventually, robots will take over. We're going to automate everything. In fact, basic news writing, one of the reasons, I haven't talked about this before, but one of the reasons we're seeing a lot more opinion in media is because basic news stories are actually being written by robots. This was years ago this stuff was coming out. General stories about sports, about weather, robots. Seriously. But I want to pop over and I want to show you this thing real quick. I think this is the right one. This is North Korean motorcycle diaries. Did really well, and most people don't. I don't know if I'm in the credits here in the info section, but basically you have. Let me see if I can find something from North Korea. This is some New Zealanders who, with their friends, they rode their motorcycles from the north to the south. Yeah, check this out. So I didn't go to North Korea. I went to New Zealand. I went to Wellington, and I interviewed these people. And it's funny because I always laugh when people start ragging at me for my content. Let's see if load the credits here, because they act like these people don't realize that I've produced documentaries. I get people on Twitter saying that I'm just a live streamer or that I'm an alt-right shill and other things like that. But bada bing, bada boom. There, look at that. Field producer. I'm not in this documentary. This is just these, old people talking about how they rode their bikes through North Korea. 60 minutes long, millions of views. It's one of the most viewed pieces I've ever worked on. And I get all these people who criticize me and they say, Tim, all you do is, oh, you're an alt-right shill or you're a liberal because I've got refugee content and Ferguson content. And they don't pay attention to what my actual body of work entails. All right, I got some more super chats here. Theodore McCarthy. Dan Harmon denounced 29% of the country as Nazis and then said, just kill Nazis, no one bats an eye. You know what the scariest thing about the Dan Harmon rant was? That it was like a Hitler rant. It was this really angry, loud rant where he blamed a whole group of people and then said they have to be killed, stabbed, smashed. Either they die or maybe we die. And I'm like, whoa, dude, that's scary. Here is a guy with 500,000 followers who created several very popular shows. Rick and Morty, I love Rick and Morty, hugely popular show. Going up on stage and laughing and then going either we die. He's yelling frantically, either we die or they die. And I'm like, whoa, dude. The scariest part was people clapping for him. I was like, holy what? That's freaky. Matt Holt, where exactly does Antifa get their directives from besides the obvious Soros funding, and how much of Antifa is agent provocateurs? Great work, bro. Thank you, Matt, for the super chat. Let me just start off by saying George Soros is not a criminal mastermind twirling his mustache and throwing out he's not making it rain on all these activists and then being like, go and wreak havoc on these streets. George Soros is certainly influential in the space, in leftist activism, things like that. But what he does is he funds organizations and doesn't have a very strong... he's not going to organizations saying, I will give you money in exchange for this. He's not cutting checks to individual activists. And when people keep blaming George Soros, saying that these activists or Antifa are funded by George Soros, while technically you could say they are, They're not really. Let me explain to you how it works. There are nonprofits in New York, and this is exactly what happened at Occupy Wall Street. So everyone said, oh, these activists are funded by George Soros. Maybe like 3% or less of the activists were indirectly funded by George Soros, because there was a nonprofit that did advocacy for left-wing issues, and they received some money from George Soros. I can't remember exactly what all this was, but it was something like a nonprofit received like a $10,000 check, and this nonprofit encouraged its employees, instead of working in their office, to go out to Occupy Wall Street, because there were people there that would support them and they could fundraise. So yes, you actually had activists who were receiving paychecks from a nonprofit that at one point had received money from George Soros. I know people who have put on events, and George Soros has helped fund their groups and comes and speaks. And talking to people who are actually really involved and have met the guy, they're like, well, he's kind of an old bumbling, doof. He's got a ton of money and he throws money at left-wing causes and he doesn't really tell people what to do. George Soros is probably not the worst offender either. It's just he's like the most obvious to a lot of people. And you know what? Maybe there's a lot of information I don't have on what he's doing, but I know a lot of really like activists who are really out there. And when it comes down to it, the events that I've seen, the people I've interviewed, there's no one receiving a check from George Soros, right? And let's just not be hyperbolic. Rebel Riot. I came into this late, so I don't know if you answered this. Do you think if the victims of Antifa continue to not retaliate much and Antifa continues as usual, the media will continue to criticize Antifa? Yes. It was really weird to see the Boston rally labeled this white supremacy event. I was just, what? The Boston rally was like anti-establishment activists. There's like a bunch of people holding Black Lives Matter signs with an Indian guy speaking, and they're saying it's white supremacy. And I think the media kind of went, oh, after Berkeley, when the event was canceled, and there were very few people there, and Antifa took the whole park over and started beating people. This is why I say, let these groups have their rallies, right? Unite the Right was not the first time a bunch of torch-wielding white nationalists went out to the statue. Excuse me. It was a few months before. And it got a bunch of coverage, and it was pretty heavily denounced in the media as something reminiscent of like a KKK rally. So they got criticism for it. And that was it. No violence, nobody got killed. The white nationalists came out with their torches and stood around the statue. There you go. But when anti-fascists and counter-protesters show up with weapons, fighting happens, and then things get really bad and it escalates. And that's why I'm like, yo, stop the escalation. Don't care who does it. We need to back down. I said to many of the, my official opinion on the matter was the people who are holding these free speech rallies should stop. They should cancel these events. And a lot of people said, oh, but Tim, that's backing down. They shouldn't have to do that. And I said, well, you know what? Look, I don't know these people. I don't know these organizers. They can do what they want to do. In Berkeley and San Francisco, when they canceled these events and Antifa still showed up and still got violent against people who were peaceful, it made Antifa look really, really bad. And then you see LA Times, The Atlantic, Washington Post, MSNBC, all coming out and criticizing Antifa because let them do their thing. They look bad because of it. All right? Got another super chat here. I don't want to miss Peter Bland. Without seeming threatening, it is worth pointing out that the right has more guns and training than the left. That isn't a threat, but a fact. If civil war kicks off, the left is going to lose. Hands down, 100%, that is a fact. That is true. And I think everybody understands that. We don't see, when people go out in the street and Antifa is beating people, they're not beating people with guns. They some of them have knives, absolutely. But the most violent actions we see are far-right extremists. And I understand like the whole issue of left versus right kind of doesn't make sense because on the economic scale, the far right means like smaller government and less control. So it gets kind of confusing. But the idea is typically like traditionalists, conservatives. We see, like Dylan Roof. We see these mosque shootings. When it comes to, like Noam Chomsky said it, when you enter the arena of violence, the most brutal guy wins, and that is not us. That's what he said to the progressives, to the anarchists when they asked him about violence. The difference is, which is really interesting, it seems to be that there is a finite amount of violence that can exist or does exist within these groups. There's a bunch of sirens outside my house. I have no idea what's going on. So I'll circle back to the idea, hit the super chat real quick. Would you consider Antifa terrorists or a street gang? They're incomparable to the likes of ISIS or MS-13. I wouldn't call them a street gang because they're... I wouldn't call them a street gang. Terrorism fits... I wouldn't call them terrorists, but I would say, like we heard, that their actions are domestic terrorist violence. And it's because they're not part of any single group. Now, I can call out one group in particular, like Rose City Antifa, which I believe is Portland. That's a specific group, a cell of individuals who have branded and produced merchandise. So, yeah, you could say that group is a group of terrorists if they're going to go out and beat innocent people. I don't want to directly insinuate anybody's doing anything. I don't know what Rose City Antifa is doing or has done. I don't know if they're actually beating innocent people. As a whole, the general concept of Antifa, we've seen this violence in the Bay, and we've seen it across the country. So when you start getting specific about specific groups, I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything until I have evidence and dig into it. So that's why I typically try to avoid specifically calling out certain cells and brands. But let's look at this idea of like a finite amount of violence. When we look at what's considered right-wing violence, you have these higher profile one-off events: mosque shooting, church shooting, car ramming. We don't have far right-wing groups showing up to political events and beating people. So it seems like if I were to lay it out, it looks like the far right violence is like a spike and then nothing, and then a spike and then nothing. Whereas the far left is like more like a bell curve, where it's just slowly, gradually increasing escalation of violence that levels out and never reaches, the far right spikes, but the left stays kind of in the middle. The far left, Antifa, consistently get violent. And that's why we talk about them so much. Because if someone's going to beat someone over the head with a bike lock or bash people with shields to say no hate, they get talked about. And then the far right gets talked about only when they commit some kind of atrocity. And the funny thing is, the people, like I brought this up in the beginning, the people who are criticizing me saying, why aren't you criticizing the far right enough? And I'm like, I do. Absolutely, I criticize anybody who gets violent when they get violent. But so far, Antifa tends to get violent more than the far right. It is what it is. Okay, so let's pop over to some other super chats. Origin MSD, what do you think are some of the best center non-biased news sources? I'm leaning towards the Christian Science Monitor. By the way, big fan, keep it up. Thank you, Origin MSD. I don't know. I really don't know. I read a little bit of everything. CNN, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, they've had their problems. But you have to, if you can recognize where they've been at fault, right? So CNN, for example, their commentary is trash. During the Boston, they had a bunch of pundits on and personalities saying, oh, this is a white supremacy rally, and it's a smokescreen trying to convince people that it's not really about white supremacy. And I'm like, that's incorrect, And that's because they brought on some panelists who have no idea what they're talking about. So CNN gets that wrong. But when CNN talks about something like North Korea and they do general information, it's not so bad. The New York Times plays fast and loose with anonymous sourcing, and they've had a really bad go of it with, like the Iraq War. All you can really do is dig through as much news as possible. Honestly, I tend to avoid small sites and digital-only sites because they tend to be really, really bad, regardless of who they are. So read all of them. Man, this is the big challenge, So many people are just trying to get clicks and shares and trying to make you angry. Chimp Hands, thank you for the super chat. Antifa violence preceded Nazi violence. How do I, as someone on the left, former SDSer, discuss this with my former comrades? I don't think we should. We don't need to point the finger or say who started it. That's not the point. The point is the far right is playing a game. It's a game of chess, and they know that the far left violence emboldens them. We saw this article from Salon that everyone's sharing right now. Let me see if I can pull this up. Look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous. Time to give up on identity politics. It's dragging the progressive agenda down. We don't need this. What is this? Identity politics has only served to disempower the left and fuel the rise of white nationalism. Can we move on? This is what I keep telling everybody, right? Nobody pays attention. It's like a Chinese finger trap. The Streisand effect, okay? Oh my God. When you go out and punch Nazis, what ends up happening is, all these media outlets said, oh, Richard Spencer's a Nazi, you can punch him, okay? Everyone started cheering, saying, go punch Nazis, and then a bunch of innocent people got punched, and it made Antifa look really, really bad. A bunch of people started saying, hey, I'm being attacked or oppressed because of this thing about me. And they started blaming white people for that. So what did white people do? White nationalism. I talked to a white nationalist, and they said that the reason they did it because they didn't like being attacked for being white. Is that surprising to anybody? Nobody likes being attacked. It's so fascinating that I tweeted at this one far left, like Antifa associated dude, who said that the only reason the right, these right-wingers, Trump supporters are my friends is because they're using me and trying to recruit me. I said, isn't it funny that the far right is nicer to me than the supposed anti-racists, and you're accusing these people of being Nazis? Like, isn't that a bit contradictory? And they were like, yes, they're trying to recruit you. And I said, why would white supremacists want to recruit a mixed race person? Blocked. Yes, because your logic doesn't hold up. How can they be white supremacist Nazis, but also try to be recruiting people who are mixed race? Doesn't really make sense, does it? No, maybe it's because they're not Nazis. Oh, but the narrative begins to crumble. It's really baffling to me when people say, but Tim, they're Nazis. Antifa might be really bad and attacking people, but what about the Nazis? And I'm like, listen, if there were actual Nazis goose-stepping down the street and, beating people, yeah, I would agree with you. Nazis are bad. They're really bad. I would also believe that communists are really bad. You know what I really love? There's this meme. Let me see if I can pull this up. You can't be... I'm sure... Check this out. This is kind of funny. You don't get to be both a Nazi and a proud American. We literally had a war about this. The whole world was involved. And then, I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, how about you just take Nazi and put communist? You don't get to be both a communist and a proud American. We literally had a Cold War about this. The whole world was involved. The U.S. opposed communism just as much as they opposed Nazism. Why don't people seem to understand about that? They show this meme of the soldiers on D-Day storming the beaches of Normandy, and they're like, oh, the anti-fascists going to shut down a peaceful gathering or whatever. And my reaction is just like, you realize that those are American soldiers, and that Antifa hates them too, right? And that many of these same soldiers were preparing, right? The Cold War, we had proxy battles with the Soviet Union, not direct conflict for the most part, but the same people who fought the Nazis ended up fighting the communists. Not only that, the U.S. recruited a bunch of Nazi scientists for their experience with rocketry and other terrifying stuff. The U.S. actually brought Nazis here to use them against the Soviets. That's how bad we thought the Soviets were. The Soviet Union was so terrifying, communism was so bad, that the U.S. was like, we can use the help of those Nazis. Isn't that kind of messed up? That after the Nazis fell, the U.S. It's actually rather disgusting, in my opinion, because the Nazi scientists, rocketry, I get it, it's kind of simple, but the stuff like that Japanese unit did was so terrifying, and that's actually legitimate criticism that I can point out for the U.S. But you know what, man? People, when it comes to war, they're desperate and they're going to do messed up stuff. Super chat here from Brian K. What do you think about the influence of philosophical postmodernism and neo-Marxism on the American left and Antifa? Oh, man, I don't know. It's all the same nonsense. This idea that there's no truth and that propaganda is fine. I get sick and tired of this whole there's no such thing as objective journalism. So let me explain objective journalism to people. First, yes, there is objective journalism. Objective is not synonymous with omniscient. Omniscient journalism would imply that I am floating above the world and can see everything as it happens and give you the base facts of what happened. Objective journalism means you yourself are removed from the circumstances to a particular degree to where you can be honest about it. So, the way I describe it, let's say there's two people fighting in the street and you don't know them. Someone will come to you and ask you, what happened? And you'll say, the guy on the left punched the guy on the right. Wow. You are objective in the circumstance because you're not fighting and you don't know these people. But let's say one of those people is your brother. Then someone comes and says, what happened? Well, that guy punched my brother. I don't know if I can trust you because of course you're going to defend your brother. You are not objective. You are biased. See, there's a difference. Super chat here from Smiling Archer. Thoughts on J.B. Peterson? Would you talk debate Ben Shapiro, L. Elder on systemic racism in U.S.? Why can't you be mixed race identitarian? Thoughts on Hayek re-Nazis? I don't know about the Hayek stuff. I've sat down with a bunch of Trump supporters and explained institutional racism, and they agreed. I think the challenge is when you talk to the far left, the progressives, they're like, institutional racism, all white people are oppressors and white privilege. And then immediately people are like, no, what? Come on. That's so reductive, and it diminishes the actual problems that we have with real things that deal with institutional racism. Institutional racism, which does exist, is not as pervasive and severe as the far left, the social justice activists are purporting it to be. And that's one of the big problems. We can't solve the problem if these people on the far left are literally like, I should just punch white people or some other ridiculous nonsense like that. First of all, someone tweeted this great thing. You'd have to be pretty stupid to think punching someone will change their mind. Right. Institutional racism is things like the housing market and real estate has there is a detrimental effect to the value of property when certain minorities move into the neighborhood. That's been around for a really, really long time. In fact, there was a practice called block busting, which I can pull up. Block busting was a practice. Check this out. Yes, it flat out says it right here. This is fascinating. The practice of persuading owners to sell property cheaply because of the fear of people of another race or class moving into the neighborhood and thus profiting by reselling at a higher price. This stuff happens all the time. Look at this. It started getting more and more prevalent. I think this is the 80s. The 80s is when it became illegal, and I did a documentary about this. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about when you're talking about institutional or systemic racism. It's not an issue of like all cops are racist. Clearly that's nonsense because some cops are not even white. And I mean, not to say that, other races can't be racist, but in their argument from the far left, when they say only white people are racist, I'm like, okay, well, like, are the black and Latino cops and Asian cops racist too? Like the cops that were assassinated in front of my apartment in Brooklyn, that high profile incident, it was a Latino and an Asian guy. So like this argument is like of systemic racism that these people have on the far left. It's like taken to an extreme that doesn't make sense. Let me hit these super chats here. Peter Bland, the far left seems like a religion at this point. Why can't I be critical of Black Lives Matter, Antifa, etc. for results of their ideas? Aren't they just ideas? Right. Can't we all just sit around and complain for once? It seems like if you complain about them or ever bring up anything bad these people do, you're a problem. As if you can't support a group but be critical of them. I can say I don't like Nazis, and I think opposing fascism is a good thing. However, this group that brands themselves Antifa and goes around beating people is a bad thing. No, apparently that's not okay, because to these people on the far left, that's not Nazi sympathy. Theodore McCarthy, the most common form of institutional racism today is affirmative action, and it's racist against whites. I would say that affirmative action is... racist is such a weird and stupid word because the definition is kind of like prejudicial against people of certain races, genders, identities. Affirmative action, yes, it is. And I'll come back to that in a second. Let's hit another super chat. Huge support of what you do. Please check out my Seago Venezuela interviews. I will check that out bold. Yes, I'll put a thumbtack in that. Affirmative action. Oh, dare we talk about affirmative action and get in trouble? You know what I was thinking, like when I was younger? Like Family Guy did this joke where it was like a back in time. Peter Griffin had an ancestor who was a slave, Nate Griffin, and he marries Lois, who's white, and they have mixed race kids. And Stewie says the best part about being mixed race is that when he grows up, everyone will accept him. And I find that joke really, really funny because I'm somebody who has dealt with racism. My family has dealt with actual racism for, mixed race stuff. And I also get to deal with the far left calling me white all the time. And it's like, it's only negative. It's only negative. The funny thing is, regular old conservatives and regular old liberals are like, I don't care. I don't know what you are. It's fine. And then you get people on the far right who I've actually had someone tell me that I should not exist. And I'm not kidding. I've had someone on the far right say like race mixing is wrong and you shouldn't exist. More frequently, though, I have people on the left saying, you're white. And when I'm like, actually, I'm not entirely white, they say, so what? White privilege. It's like, let me tell you this story about Occupy Wall Street, which is fascinating. I was at Occupy Wall Street, and there were two people arguing. It was a white dude and a black dude. And they were talking about affirmative action and these other concepts of what they called, what did they call it? Progressive stack. That's what it was called. So the stack was when you wanted to speak, they would, like you, then you, then you, then you. It was the order they created for who was allowed to speak. Progressive stack was that if you were a white male, you'd be put to the back of the line no matter what. And if you're a white female, you'd go after, say, like a black female. So they wanted to make sure that they were lifting up certain voices that were marginalized. And I was having a discussion with somebody, and I said that I didn't like the idea of automatically just telling somebody who's a minority or a woman that they need to be lifted up. I don't want to create a circumstance where someone feels like they're in an inferior position. I want to make people feel like they're strong and capable and can do things on their own. And this white dude goes, dude, white privilege, man, you have no idea what you're talking about, okay? Like, you grew up with white privilege, so obviously you think anybody can lift themselves up by their bootstraps, And I said, actually, I'm mixed race, and my family's home was, like, vandalized by white supremacists. And his immediate response was, oh, okay. Like, no, I see what you're saying now. And I'm like, oh, now you value my opinion, as if that's going to make me respect you. Like, there were people down there, and it's not everybody, but there were people down there that would rag on me and say I'm white and all that stuff. And then as soon as they found out that I was mixed, they were like, I'm so sorry, did I offend you? And there were people that when I would say things, right? So this is fascinating. During Occupy, when I was there, I had so many people sing my praises like, dude, you're the perfect example of everything wrong with capitalism, right? You're smart, you're talented, but like, where's your success, man? Like, where's your American dream? And this is what people would say to me. I kid you not. I had people say this to me. I did an interview with some magazine, and they talked about like all these problems, and clearly being like a high school dropout, mixed race person, America is just not built for the likes of me. But what happens a month later when I'm in a bunch of magazines and I've got like big book companies being like, Dimple, we want to write your book. Well, now I'm white. Now I'm not mixed race. Now I'm a white person, and I was born with a silver spoon, and they started calling me a trust fund kid. My opinion was no longer valid. How fun. Brian K., another super chat. If a right-wing group of anti-communists like Antifa beat innocent bystanders, I am against them. Does that make me a communist? Anti-communist? Bingo! That's a great argument. No, it doesn't. And the funny thing is, these anti-fascists, Antifa, they tend to be anti-capitalist. Okay? Would an anarcho-capitalist, right, libertarians who abide by the non-aggression principle want to align with a group that hates capitalism? No, they're at odds with each other. But both groups certainly hate fascism too. This argument that you're either with Antifa or you're a fascist is total bullshit. Oh, forgive me for swearing. You guys know about the non-aggression principle? Let me pull it up for you. The non-aggression... You know what? I'm going to hit some of these regular comments. Okay, so for those that are in the live chat, like the actual comments, I've explained this a lot. It's sometimes really hard for me to follow regular comments because the chat moves so quickly. So I try to hit up some of the comments every so often, sometimes the super chat stuff. Andreas, when's the Sweden video coming out? So you know what the struggle with the Sweden video is that we're stacked on this footage and trying to put it together, and it is a challenge of trying to do something at the same time. Like, how do I explain this? Putting out a video every single day and trying to make sure that there's somebody who's going to be around to watch the video versus hiring somebody. Long story short, let's put it this way. Vice, the documentaries that we put together for all the stuff that we did, like this North Korea stuff, the budgets are like $50K. And the money wasn't there, to put it frankly. Does that mean it won't happen? No. Certainly still in like the process of stacking this stuff up and trying to figure out how to make it work. But that's the big challenge, is making it happen. So for those that have been sitting on that and waiting for it to happen, you have my sincerest apologies, but don't worry, stay tuned, because it's certainly not off the table. Like, the goal is still in existence. I think there's a lot more news in Europe that You know, storyboarding for what we did is also a challenge. Trying to figure out what our Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 is and how long it's going to be and things like that. The goal was to make it around 20 minutes. We ended up putting together some like 13, 20, 15 to 20 minute videos. And so now trying to cut through that to find what the static through line is has been the biggest challenge. More importantly, running out of money and not being able to pay people to do it has meant that it's just sitting on a block at this point. Geolosifizer. If you believe World War II was a fight between good and evil, you don't understand what it was about. It wasn't all about Nazi Aryan supremacy BS. Right, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of reasons why World War II happened. There was one quote that World War II was just World War I. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, there was no peace after World War I, just a 20-year armistice. And that's exactly what happened, right? The damage from World War I caused Germany to become angry, and then once they had the opportunity and built themselves back up, it just happened again. So, free and TX says, non-aggression principle equals completely vague term that varies wildly between anarcho-capitalists, subject to discussion while passing the joint. Yeah, for sure. Seriously. The non-aggression principle, I'll just plop it over here. The NAP, it's basically that you don't initiate force or coercion against another person. But there's a lot of challenging, it's challenging, right? The debate over violence and when it is okay is really challenging. When talking about Antifa, they were talking about this on Democracy Now! They said, at what point do you get violent? Do you wait for neo-Nazis or Nazis to actually kill somebody? Then do you get violent? That's the challenge. I think, for me, the response is you don't get violent, right? Because violence escalates. If nobody showed up to Charlottesville, would there have been violence? Would this guy have rammed his car into people? No, probably not. There wouldn't have been people to ram, right? So not only does this like show of force by the far left and these protesters create a target for these people, but if you're not there, there's no escalation. So it is a real challenge at what point we decide to get violent. North Korea is launching launching rockets flying over North Korea. At what point do we say that is an act of war? Well, that missile that flew over Japan, that's freaky stuff, People in Japan are freaked out about it. Do we intervene? That's a huge challenge. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys want to go to, let me ask you this too. Is there a way to do polling on this? Oh, there's a play ad button. That'll make me $1. I never knew that. Where should I go next? Because I'm looking at going to Seoul and, doing my thing there. But Seoul is going to be probably significantly... There's not going to be a lot going on. If something does happen, Seoul might just get wiped off the map. Which is also do I go to Seoul and then a nuclear strike happens and then I just don't exist anymore? Or do I wait and after the conflict starts try and go in? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Sir Shilly Mace. Alt-right defends themselves. We will never instigate unwarranted violence. Violence is natural, so you must calculate, prepare, and predict it. This is what I was talking about when I said that the right is playing the game. It's a game of chess. I don't believe that we have seen any far-right or alt-right or any groups show up to a progressive event or left-wing event and go beating people. And the obvious reason is if you watch these videos, if you say watch Sargon of Akkad, he's talked about this. He's shown videos where the alt-right and far-right and even white supremacist groups say they use the left-wing violence for propaganda to prove they're right and recruit people. Well, I'm assuming it's streaming. My computer just crashed, which is super annoying. Let's see if it kicks back in. Hey, it kicked back in. So I've got this problem with my computer, and maybe you guys might be some computer geniuses who can help me with this, where my computer just likes to turn off and then turn back on, which is very inconvenient. Fortunately, it looks like the live stream resumed, and I don't have to restart anything super annoying. Oh, it's actually showing me when my computer crashed, I think. Yes, I got shut down. Where were we? My God, what were we just talking about? Well, for those of you in the comments, if you want to pick back up on the conversation and bring up any ideas and we can get started, the MK Ultra clone has replaced Tim Pool. Yes, I am admittedly not Tim Pool. When the stream shut down, we're now in a CIA command center where we've recreated his apartment. so that we can say things like, Antifa is awesome. You should love and support them. I'm just kidding. So, well, there's only about 9 or 10 minutes left anyway. So I guess we'll kind of start wrapping things up. Come on, get out of here. There's so much nonsense going on with my computer right now. I need to figure out... I've had this problem since I bought it. It just will randomly restart for no reason. It's well ventilated. It is not overheating. It is not doing anything strenuous, in fact. But for some reason, it just likes shutting down. So I think that just about killed the stream anyway. So I guess we're going to do a shorter... the stream health is low. What a nightmare. I need to figure out how to fix my computer. Let's pay attention to Hurricane Irma. Let me pull up the hurricane track right now. For those that are still hanging out, this is actually kind of alarming. Look at this. This is what I'm paying attention to right now because it looks very much like it's going to hit Florida. Hopefully it doesn't, but it is a Category 3 and it's expected to be a Category 4 when it hits, Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and all that stuff. Oh man, that's and just after Harvey. So hopefully that's where it ends up. Oh hey, super chat. Hey, looks like we're kicking back into gear here. Is your computer a laptop or a desktop or what? Also, what are you running? I got an Alienware. Let me just take the camera off. Here, I'm just gonna show you my rig. Here's my. This is what I'm talking into. Up. Here's my screens. That's the screen I was just showing you. This is my Alienware. There's my synthesizer. There's my other camera. There's my lights. That's where I film when you watch my videos. There's CNN running in the background. That's the laptop that I use for when I travel, but it also serves as a monitor for that camera. And this is the Alienware machine that likes to randomly turn off. I don't know why. It just randomly turns off. And I've had people say that it's probably a heating issue, but that is not the case because the machine is certainly not overheating. It is cool and crisp in this room. The computer is not doing anything strenuous, and it likes to just explode. But now you got a nice little tour of the room. So, do you still have your warranty? Yeah, I didn't buy it that long ago, so I don't know what the issue is. It's kind of annoying. I have several year warranty on it because, as the saying goes, you don't save money by buying cheap. You don't do it. Someone's mad that I bought an Alienware. Why? Because I don't have time. Someone's like, build your own PC. I don't have time to build my own PC. I went to Best Buy and I said I need a computer that's got a good GPU that can handle like rendering programs, 360, something that's gonna be able to handle 360 videos for the most part. And they were like, well, here, and they showed me the specs, and I'm like, is it the best you have? And they said yes, and it wasn't too expensive, so I said okay, I bought it, and it worked really, really well for the first 2 months, and then all of a sudden started just randomly shutting off. Super annoying. And I talked to some people about it, and they don't know. What games do I play? On this computer, I had all of the Bioshocks. Bioshock 1 was amazing. It's probably a bad power supply. That's exactly what I was thinking. But the issue is it turns off and turns back on instantly. So, yeah, it would have to be some kind of short or something's causing the power to cut in and out. And, yeah, I guess I'll have to figure it out. Bioshock 1, wasn't that game awesome? It was like someone took an Ayn Rand novel and said, let's make a video game about it. And then Bioshock Infinite was good, but it wasn't as good. So, yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's see. Concerning your Cat with a Hat 2 HD. Oh, high definition. Concerning your potential future international coverage, is Poland on your radar by any chance? Also, the computer might think it's overheating due to a plethora of possible issues. That's the other thing I've noticed too, because I've got a thermostat here that that I check regularly, and the CPU sensor says 37 degrees, the ambient sensor says 60, and that's what I think might be it. So if the computer shuts off again because it thinks it's overheating, yeah, I gotta get this thing fixed. Got another super chat. You should just send it to a shop. Yeah, I'm smart enough to fix it myself. I should probably just... I've got more than enough friends who could walk over and, hit it with a hammer and it would work again. I don't know about Poland. Look, I want to make sure that I'm going somewhere and covering the most important stories possible. So, right now we're looking at Hurricane Irma coming up the next, not even 2 weeks at this point, maybe 7 to 10 days. And if that's Florida, then I'm going to pay attention to Florida because it looks like for now it might be Florida. But the hurricane also might curl and actually head up into New York, which would be like, whew, like I was here for Sandy, and Sandy was pretty crazy. Other than that, there's the Koreas. Now, this could just be a bunch of posturing. I don't know. With Donald Trump, you have no idea. He might want to just take swift action and shut it all down. And then who knows, right? So actually, I've got someone who's in Korea. They just messaged me. And maybe there's some insight I can give right now, as a matter of fact, from a local living in Korea. Oh, whoa. Wow. This might be serious. So this person who lives in Korea is telling me that it looks like they're deploying THAAD this week. THAAD is a missile defense system. Let me pull this up. My understanding is that it's kind of like the Iron Dome in Israel. So we got a CNBC thing right here. Let me hop over to this. Oh, there you go. THAAD missile shield could be overwhelmed by swarm-like attack from the north.
Test this week over the Pacific. South Korea's U.S.-supplied terminal high-altitude area defense system missile shield successfully intercepted a ballistic missile target. That's been seen as a message to nuclear-armed North Korea of the technology's capabilities. However, not everyone is confident in its capabilities in an actual combat situation. The anti-missile system has yet to be battle-tested, and some experts worry it could be overwhelmed by a swarm-like attack from North Korea. Critics say that the current military testing of the system might not accurately reflect the danger of potential attacks by complex countermeasures, which could potentially trick the radar, according to experts. South Korea currently has 2 U.S.-supplied THAAD anti-missile launchers deployed. The bottom line, critics say that THAAD missile shield could be overwhelmed by a swarm-like attack.
Oh, well, there you go. This is July. So according to CNBC, they've got 2 already. And someone's telling me they're deploying more, I guess. Super chat here. We are having a church election in Sweden the 17th. The Sweden Democrats are one of the leading parties. Thoughts? It's really fascinating when I talk to many of the Sweden Democrats when I was there in Sweden, because they're like American Democrats, like they're far left, but considered far right in Sweden because everyone in Sweden is so far left. I don't know. Yeah. Chaos Theory says THAAD is a missile defense system which is 50% effective when you know where and when a missile will be launched, as well as its trajectory. It's useless. It's literally useless. Well, there you go. Look at this. This is depressing, man. What is it? My comments exploded when I got disconnected because everybody started commenting, but all the viewers left, which is a bummer. Oh, you poor computer! What are you doing? It usually never crashes. It crashes every so often, and I think it's the power supply. That's a bummer. Well, anybody got any questions? Because we're nearing 1 hour, but I don't see any reason to immediately get off considering the crash earlier. Do you think the escalating tensions between the Koreas will lead to war? Man, I don't know. Everyone's trying to avoid war because South Korea would just get obliterated. Yeah, we could crush North Korea, but... Cogent Lich, would you ever report on Venezuela again? Yeah, I'd love to report on Venezuela. It's much harder to get into the country now, and I'm sure if I went to the country, they'd probably just kidnap me and execute me or something. No, they wouldn't execute me. They put me in a prison for a long time, and then I'd be sitting there for a few years until Donald Trump sent somebody to get me out. So I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't. You know, when I was in Venezuela, I had to make the decision of stay and report and probably get locked up, or just get out. And so ultimately, I said, you know what, man, I'm just gonna get out. I don't want to stick around here. Another super chat. South Korea should build bunkers in the south and just take out North Korea. Man, they got 60 million people living in South Korea? Is that how many? Let me pull up the exact number so I know for sure. I think it is. I think Seoul is something like 30 million people. I'm pretty sure it's like some obscene number like that. Let's see. Population. 51 million. 51 million people living in South Korea. Yes, that's a lot of people. And how many live in Seoul? Because Seoul is actually super close to the DMZ, right? Seoul has 10 million? No, I was wrong. The metro has 25 million people. Okay, so that's 25 million people that will probably get, kind of messed up. We don't want that. YouTube is gay. Good channel. Admire your intellectual honesty. Nice stocking caps. Thank you. Thank you for complimenting my hats. And thank you for the super chat. Well, we kind of talked about all the main points. We can talk about anything you guys want to. Normally at about 1 hour, I kind of wrap things up, but I'm down to keep hanging out and talking about literally whatever if y'all would like. So I mean, people are sending in super chats. I might as well keep the feed going. So yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about. Wow, 31 million. The metropolitan area of South Korea, of Seoul, 25.6 million people. It's a lot of people. Super chat here from Mario Rudinsky. Can we appreciate capitalism for a sec? You make money sharing opinions. Holy $. TMZ makes money talking about Kim K's ass. Is this heaven or hell? I don't think we need... Capitalism is... people have different definitions of all these different terms. Let's just say... using an intermediary trade tool is fascinating. The idea that we can have a tool that represents value that can be shared amongst many people means that I can do a live stream talking about news issues and how I feel about them and answer some questions from you guys based on my experience having traveled to many of these places. And it's valuable to people to know these things. Information is important, and in turn, people support me, which allows me to keep doing that. That's awesome. It would really suck if I had to go to a bureau and be like, I would like to apply to learn and travel around and then share what I learn with other people. They're going to be like, unfortunately, you can't do that. You have to go be a baker. And I'm like, but I'm a terrible baker. And they're like, that's the only job we have available. That sucks. Another super chat here from IceAxe0410. Didn't say anything, just gave money. Appreciate the super chat. In capitalism, you need money to live. To get money, you need to be useful to somebody. To be useful to others is good. It is. There's I've thought about so much about economics. Let's pop over to the super chat real quick. Before the crash, you had started talking about the far right strategy versus left-wing violence. Please continue. Thank you. The far right knows that if they chill out and let the left get violent, it makes them look better. The Nazis did the same thing. The Red Front, would go out and get into fights with police. This scares people, right? The police, it's like Officer Jones coming out to bring you a glass of milk and meets you at the, he's very officer friendly, as they call it. That idea is all changing now, and things are getting much more intense with the militarization of police. But people are still trust the police to a certain extent. What ends up happening is you have a faction of people, the far left, groups like Black Lives Matter, who don't trust the police and protest. This creates an inverse, an equal and opposite reaction of opposition to these groups. The far right knows that if people keep attacking police, it's going to scare the average person because police keep things sane. People have confidence in the police department. And they can use this violence to build support for law and order policy. I can't pronounce this name, anonymous, but they use, I think that's a photo of me looking all crazy. Tim, you're a handsome fellow. Thank you. Can you give me a wink? Oh, I just did. There's another one. Jason Price, what would you think would happen if China stopped caring about North Korea? Lasers, explosions. I think we're at a point where China's kind of like, we like international trade and wealth more than we care about this little idiot trying to build nukes. Capstrong, but what is money? Money is a tool that represents value. Whoa, Joe N, big super chat. Thank you so much. Seriously, I appreciate it. And don't let that react. I feel bad. I apologize for that reaction because not everybody can give, and I always try to make sure that as I can represent my values as lefty as possible. In that, just because you have money and you give a big donation, I don't want to make you feel like bigger donations are more appreciated than smaller donations. But I got another super chat here. Tim Bro, get a haircut for fuck's sake. I just, whatever. But the beanie is kind of like a style thing. Skateboarders all wear beanies. Go to a skate shop. Go to a skate park. Skateboarders are crazier than you realize. Okay, people talk about my beanie. Go to a skate park in the dead of summer. You'll see someone wearing like a wool sweater and a beanie. Yeah, they go nuts. But I'll talk about something when it comes to donations and giving and what is truly appreciated. Oprah gives out free cars to everybody, and everyone goes, oh my God, Oprah, that's so nice. And it's like, those cars she gave out are 0.0000001% of her money. That's seriously not a big deal. You know what it's really amazing? When somebody who only has like $20 says, "Man, here's some cash for you," because they're taking a serious hit to their resources to make sure that they can support you. So, seeing as I can't actually know how much money people have in the bank, I just want to make sure that everyone knows, like, no matter how much you give, I seriously appreciate it. But more importantly, I don't care if you don't give at all. You guys want to do an experiment? There's this play ad button. And I'm really curious to see what's going to happen if I push it. Are people going to be mad if I push the play ad button and make you watch a commercial? Don't apologize for being grateful for large super chats. The big tippers need love too. Oh, no, for sure. I just, if someone can afford to give a lot, I want to make sure it's not like, oh, simply because you're rich, you get more appreciation. That's not fair. I understand the concept of capitalism and people with money who have earned it, yada, yada, yada. But the general idea is simply giving is fascinating. Is appreciated. Fascinating is the wrong word when I'm thinking of. Push the ad button. Yeah, I think if I push the ad button, like, my viewership is going to plummet. But I think because we're over 1 hour, and it's important for do it. It's important for me understanding how the play ad system works. But first, let me explain stuff to you guys about how YouTube works. For every 1,000 views that I get on a news video, I get like $1 or less. It's hard to predict. For some reason, when I do a video about Sargon of Akkad, I get like $5 per, like, my CPM's really high. But when I do videos about news, general news stuff, the CPM's really low. So right now there's 855 people watching, which means I'll make less than $1 by pressing this ad button. So is it really worth it? I don't know. Geolosophizer. Russia's about to launch military exercises on the Polish-Baltic states' borders. How likely do you think it is that Russia invades Eastern Europe within the next decade? Entirely depends on what happens with North Korea. Do you guys know what Kaliningrad is? How many of you know what Kaliningrad is? Kaliningrad. Oh god, I'm just making it worse. I'm trying to type in Kaliningrad, but Google is auto-suggesting a bunch of nonsense. Kaliningrad is a tiny little piece of Russia. This is so cool. In Eastern Europe. Check this out. A lot of people don't know this. See this little guy right here? That's Kaliningrad. Let's zoom out. Guess what? Kaliningrad is like between Poland and Lithuania, and Russia's over here, man. But this little dot right here, that's Russia. So I've got friends who are in Poland and Lithuania. My Lithuanian friends were freaking out not too long ago when the Crimea stuff was happening, right? Crimea's right over here. When all that stuff was going down, when Russia was like, we finna take Crimea, my friends who are in Lithuania were like, dude, in Kaliningrad, they're bolstering the defenses on the borders. And that scares people, But look at this. A little bit of Russia. How fun is that? Little tiny piece of Russia still left over from the Soviet era, stuck there in the middle of Europe. Be fun to go there. I actually would like to go to Russia. There's some cool and interesting places. And now, as an experiment, to all 874 of you who are watching, thank you, and get ready, because I'm pressing the play ad button. Oh, look at this. It says, based on complex criteria, some of your viewers will see an ad, keep on streaming. What does that mean? How many of you did you just say we finna? Yes. So for those of you that are familiar with where I'm from on the south side, we actually say finna a whole lot. I played the ad. Did anybody see the ad? No, actually, if you've seen the ad, you're not going to know I'm asking this question. My God, it's crazy. Let's see what happens if I press it again. You know what I think I'm going to do? I just got a really good idea. When I end my live streams, I think I should just mash the play ad button. And then everyone's got ad block on. Here's an idea. I don't know if this is against the rules. Like, if I told people to watch ads, is that against the rules, or would YouTube really like that? No ad. I see no ad. No ad. Nada. No ad. No. You guys are all running ad block, aren't you? So I had... Whoa, comments going crazy. Andrea Super Chat, thanks for clarifying the Sweden video. I'll throw you some Bitcoin to help out. You don't understand how much you've done for my country. I appreciate it, man. I think the big challenge with putting the Sweden video together was after we got back, we have something like, my God, like hundreds of hours of footage. because we did a video every day that was like 20 minutes long, and we cut those down from a seriously large number. The interviews alone were like 60 minutes. Then we have all of the B-roll stuff that I was compiling, which is another like 60 minutes. So maybe like 100 hours of footage. And then trying to get someone to go through all of that is really, really expensive. Significantly more expensive than I thought it was going to be. When we do stuff, when I did stuff at Vice, when I did stuff at Fusion, when I do stuff now, when we go into a place and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to shoot these scenes and this interview and then cut it into a 20-minute piece. That's easy. And we did that on a day-to-day basis. But then trying to go through something like 2 weeks worth of videos and break that down into a narrative, I was like, oh, now someone's going to have to sit through all of that footage. And every hour of footage is an hour of pay, and editors are expensive. And so I was like, brick wall. But for those that want to donate, mentioning Bitcoin, I have an image. How do I do this? Image 1. Wait a minute. Oh, no, I removed it. Hold on, maybe I can do something. I'm experimenting right now, so have fun, and let's see what happens. I'm going to drop an image into the player, and it's going to look terrible. Yeah, you can see that, right? I was not prepared. Look at that. Woo! This is how you give me money. Well, I'm just experimenting with the graphic stuff, but at that URL, I've got a link for all the Bitcoin stuff. So Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin are up right now. And if you want to send crypto my way, greatly appreciated. Got another super chat here. Scott says, keep it up, sexy boy. You know, I normally do these streams for like an hour, but like after an hour, people just keep sending super chats with silly things like keep it up, sexy boy. And I'm kind of like, if y'all want me to keep streaming and you're just going to keep sending me money, like I got no reason to turn it off. I just thought an hour made the most sense. People peacing out. See you later. So yeah, we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Nobody sees ads. Okay. Did anybody see an ad? I guess the problem is when I ask people to comment, everybody comments and I can't see the comments. Someone says see it. Litecoin has a faster transfer rate. You guys want to talk about Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin? How many of you are following Bitcoin Cash? Because I got to say, personally, I'm really, really not into Bitcoin at this point. And I love cryptocurrencies. I've got a handful, but Bitcoin Cash I like Bitcoin Cash better. Josh Patterson. The important thing is that North Korea's artillery cannot reach Seoul. Evac 32 miles from North Korean border, and civilians should be safer at least. Hopefully, but they do have intermediate missiles which can travel into the Pacific Ocean. So hopefully we can stop those. YouTube is gay. Did you hear about the SPLC putting millions in offshore bank accounts? How many inches long is your dong? Well, that last part of the question we'll ignore, but I thought it was funny, so I read it anyway. You guys want to talk about nonprofits and how shady all of them are? Because I worked for nonprofits. I was a director. Let's talk about nonprofits. But first, we'll hit this last super chat. Prairie MK2. Tim, whatever you do not tell people to watch your ads. A YouTuber by the name of DSP lost his AdSense account for doing that. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I don't know what you're allowed to advocate. No, honestly, I thought by like telling people like, hey man, appreciate the sponsors, you know? Don't click the ads. I'm not going to force you to do that by all means. Hell no. But I don't know. Doesn't YouTube want people to watch ads? I'm not gonna advocate for anybody to do anything. I don't want to get in trouble. YouTube's crazy like that. So let's go back and talk about nonprofits. You know, I used to be a fundraising director for many nonprofits. You ever see those people on the street where you're like walking around and they go like, hey, how's it going? Would you like to talk to me for a minute about boring stuff? And then people just ignore them. I was in charge of those people. I started doing that, and the first thing is, the truth is, whenever someone gives you that spiel, when they're like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and they're reading from a script, you're like, you're not even talking to me. Why would I talk to you? The reality was, different people want to hear different things, and I'm not going to treat people like robots. So these scripts they give you, I just like, tear it up, throw it out. No. I'll say, hey, would you like to have a conversation? And if they do, it just depends. There might be a dude wearing like a punk rock shirt, and I'll be like, what up, dude? Like, hey, man, come over here and talk to me about fundraising for nonprofits. And then you get some people wearing suits, and I'd be like, good afternoon, sir. Do you have a moment to talk about the ACLU or something like that? Yes, I fundraised for the ACLU. Let's, without calling any of these nonprofits out because I don't want to be sued, Let's talk about first a 501c3. A 501c3 is a charitable organization, and it is tax deductible. They cannot use the donations for political purposes, I believe. I could be wrong. It's been like 12 years or 10 years since I've done a lot of this stuff. But a 501c3 does things like feed homeless people, fights, things like that. Charitable organizations, children's programs. A 501c4, okay, doesn't have to disclose their revenue, their donors, things like that, and they can engage in political behavior. So super PACs, which you may have heard of, 501c4s. Let me tell you what a lot of these nonprofits do without calling any of these specific companies out. Well, you may have donated to a tax-deductible nonprofit. And what they do is, let's call it Organization X. We'll start a 501c3 and say, we want to save the giraffes, and we need your money to do it. And they'll show you this really sad chart that says, we only brought in $100,000 last year to save the giraffes. It's not nearly enough money to pay our staff. We're losing money. In fact, our executive director only gets paid $20,000 a year. Isn't that sad? Because what they aren't telling you, and what they legally don't have to tell you, is that Organization X also operates a 501c4 that brought in $100 million and pays the same executive director significantly more money than that. So it is legal for a nonprofit to go to you and say, unfortunately, we're in a budget shortfall. We didn't raise enough money, and we're cutting salaries. While all true, they aren't telling you that their sister organization, which doesn't have to disclose their donors and other private information, doesn't even have to tell you why or what they do. That's where your donations actually go. So let's say you want to make a donation to this nonprofit. You say, I'll give you $5. They take that $5 and they say, thank you. But you didn't donate to the 501c3. You donated to a 501c4, and at the end of the year, the 501c4 will then give some money to the 501c3, so the 501c3 can claim they aren't making money. The reality is, a lot of the fundraising on the street, you're actually donating to the 501c3. You really are. But big donations, to make it seem like these organizations aren't bringing in as much money as they actually are, they use subsidiaries and sister organizations, and they can spin money around in a bunch of tax-exempt, sneaky ways, like maybe offshore bank accounts, so that they can claim they're not bringing in as much as they actually need. Nefarious NYC says, careful selling your Bitcoin Cash. It is 100% susceptible to capital gains tax if you owned Bitcoin prior to the split, since it was issued for free. Interesting. Yes. I don't think I'm going to use or sell any of the crypto that I have. I think I'm going to just basically sit on it for a long time, because it's like, there's a lot of reasons why I don't like Bitcoin, and I think the main issue is that it's becoming something totally different. Bitcoin's utility is in, not that it's a store of value. The utility of Bitcoin is that it's decentralized exchange of value. And right now it seems like Bitcoin is becoming more of just an asset for holding. Well, I don't want to just get an asset for holding. Oh, got a super chat trying to sneak by. Kekistani Insurrection says, Sarkeesian used a 501c3 for political activism. You know, I'm not a lawyer. It's not legal advice or anything like that. I'm not sure exactly what the rules and the laws are. I think political activism specifically refers to supporting politicians and voting and things like that. I think if you do a 501c3 but then just make social advocacy, like maybe a political issue, but it's not directly impacting politics, is okay. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. Quint Bromley, thank you for the super chat. Bitcoin is fake news. So here's the thing, right? Do you guys know what SegWit is? Segregated witness. I'm not going to get into the full details. But the general idea of Bitcoin at this point is you invest in Bitcoin and you hold it for value. And it's a quick exchange, relatively quick. But it was really crazy when I would see people saying, if you want to exchange value faster, use Dash or Ripple or some other currency. And I'm like, why? What's the point of Bitcoin then? What's its value derived by its value based on value? Great chaos. Speaking of offshore bank accounts, whatever happened with the Panama Papers? It was huge, and then the election drowned everything out. Good point. I have no idea. It's a good question. There were a lot of celebrities implicated in that, because I think, I can't remember the issues. Yeah, it's just really interesting. Honest Hedgehog Life says, oh my god, Senpai noticed me. You're damn right. What crypto do you like? Ethereum. Man. Ethereum is inspiring. I've got a couple Bitcoin in value, but I've split a lot of it up. So Basic Attention Token, which is one of the ERC20 tokens, has been interesting to me because I had someone hit me up. But for the most part, when all the craziness was happening with Bitcoin, I moved into Bitcoin Cash, and the move has been stable. Right, I haven't lost anything. I actually made a little money in the move. Bitcoin Cash, I think, is around like $600 right now. But Bitcoin Cash, it doesn't have the infrastructure of Bitcoin, but Bitcoin seems to be getting really complicated and bogged down by special interests, and that kind of, I don't know if I'm into that. I don't know if I like that. Jason Hubbard says he selling my house for a $150,000 gain. That's great. I wonder what you could do with $150,000. Buy an ethnostate. Yes. I don't think that's enough to buy an island. I have a question. If you bought an island to yourself, is that island an ethnostate, or is it under the jurisdiction of another country? Sean B, thank you for the super chat. Honestly, I think if people I've had a couple people just super chat me without comment, I'll just turn the stream on and leave it running and point it. You know what I'll do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a guinea pig, and I'm just going to point the camera at the guinea pig and stream indefinitely guinea pig camera. I bet I would make a ton of money if I had a guinea pig camera. Sarah Marie says, "Are you going to have babies, Tim?" You know what's crazy? I'm 31 and a half. I'm going to be 32 in March, and I don't have any kids. I'm not married. And although I was dating someone a little while ago, we're not dating anymore. My dad had 2 kids by the time I think he was like 27. Isn't that crazy? Buy a free Kekistan. Investing in gold. I have some gold, actually. Bitcoin is being bogged down by dumb Chinese miners. Can you play your original songs on guitar? I could. How many people want to hear music? I'll tell you what. If let's see, I'm writing this song that I actually just recorded a version of, and I need to find an animator who can help me put a video together for it. The premise of the video is the cycle of revolution, and the song is typically about so I'll tell you how I write songs. And a half, yes. Do I plan to make a white baby? I'm mixed race, so no matter what, my baby will be to a certain degree part Korean. When I write a song, what I do is I imagine the narrative in my head, and then I visualize what's happening, and then just basically create what I like. They're kind of like little fence posts, or some kind of like what's the right word for it? Put a thumbtack in certain places. So when I sing a song that I write, you might not be able to see the entire vision of what the story is, but the lyrics lend to the greater vision of what the story is. Basically, I have a storyboard for a video that I need someone to animate, and there's a song that complements that video and gives you an understanding of what the narrative is. But the general concept that I have for this song is, if you would like to imagine this, the song starts out with a ruler, the leader of a country, calling his guards, marching to the home of dissidents, and executing them, while a small child hides under a bed and watches his family be killed. The guy who kills the dissidents, he says that these people have to be stopped. They're traitors, and it's the will of the people that these traitors be killed. And this kid witnesses his parents' murder, grows up to become a revolutionary, then rallies the people around him, topples the statues of this ruler, and declares that is the will of the people. And then the last verse is this revolutionary, who is now the leader of the country who has taken over, seeks out those who are considered sympathizers along with this former government and executes them in front of their children who are hiding, and he claims this is the will of the people. The concept is everybody claims to act for the will of the people, and that what they're doing is just and they're allowed to do it. Meanwhile, there's always someone witnessing it, hoping for revenge. And there's this meme that kind of gave me the idea of the story, but also like my experiences in Egypt and things like that. And so I'll show you this picture right now. And this is basically the people, they pull down one statue and it's just a wheel that someone keeps coming up. So yeah, the general idea, guy kills people in front of the kid grows up, topples the statue, and then goes and kills people he deems to be ideological enemies in front of their kids. And then those kids will grow up and the cycle continues. And it's depressing. And that's how life goes. Yes. Thus is life. So I'll tell you what. I will play a song. You know what? Before I do that, let's be fair to those that are watching for political reasons, because I honestly, we're half an hour over time, and I'm kind of bored, so I figure I'll just keep streaming. But make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Timcast. You can go to timcast.com/donate to donate. Bitcoin is cryptocurrencies are greatly appreciated, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Trying to figure out what the next trip is. Might be Korea. Doing a lot more live streams, as you know, for those of you that are watching. And now that I've said all that, I will play a song for y'all if you'd so desire. Can you do any sweet tricks on the treadmill? I can kickflip on the treadmill with my skateboard. But I'll play a song if... what's a good threshold? What's a good threshold? Call the song The Ride Never Ends. I was going to call the song The Will of the People, or something like that. It's a political song. All of my music is political. I wrote a song when I was like 14 that's about like war and conflict and imperialism and stuff. Because I'm so deep. I'm 14 and this is deep. Donald Nesbitt, Tim, again, we don't agree politically, but you seem to be not only intelligent, but a cool and nice guy. Thank you, I appreciate that. I try to be really nice. That's what I don't get. When I go to these political rallies and people are screaming like, fuck Tim Pool, I'm like, you want to talk? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, let's talk. Like, for real. Like, I got no beef. I don't know why you got beef with me. I guess people want to have beef, you know? Something uplifting. I can play a bunch of really great covers. It's getting late. Here's what I'll do. Check this out. Okay, we got two choices. You see this right here? This is a Strat acoustic. I don't even know if they make these anymore. I bought this 11 years ago. It's not in tune, is it? No, it sounds terrible. There it is. Someone said, I don't know you, but F you, Tim. Play Freebird. I can't play Freebird. Don't know how. Oh my god, the absolute state of Tim Pool. Tune it. I kind of did. Oakman8709 says, when I get high, I watch communist propaganda. You know, I watch not all, but I watch a ton of the far left and far right propaganda videos. Because I'm somebody who likes to understand why things are the way they are. So I want to understand perspectives. And what ends up happening is I watch people on both sides and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that's wrong and that's wrong. Why would I be on anyone's side? Oh, okay, looks like I got a guitar tuner on my phone. My phone's not working. The iPhone's crap. Here's a major announcement. Stop the presses. I am not buying the next iPhone. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what they announce. But the lack of a headphone jack and just as crappy as this thing has been, I am not happy. And I've got the Galaxy 8 and it's great. And so, screw you guys. Yes, I tuned it perfectly. What's wrong? And the app crashed right when I finished. Shut up and hurry up. Play It's Everyday Bro. I don't know how to play anything at all. Oh, can you not even see the guitar? I can play no music. I have no skills and no talents. Everything is a lie. I'm only pretending to know what I'm doing. I don't actually know how to tune a guitar. It's all a trick. But thank you everybody who hung out and listened to me talk. And it's not the first time I played music, but I can play music. You guys want to hear a song called Baby, I'm an Anarchist? I don't remember how to play that anymore. There's a band called Against Me that I really like back when I was little. Oh man. Okay. What do you guys want to hear? And who's gonna put the tip jar for some music? I don't play music for free. Did you get your GED? No, I did not. I did not get my GED. And this guitar is filthy. It's old and like never been washed. And I don't even know if they make these things anymore. Aaron Sesker. We don't care about the music. Just take off the beanie. You don't care about the music. That's not the right thing to say to get me to take off the beanie. Tim has bamboozled us. Super chat. Tim, do you have any stories of meeting people off the camera that are totally different? No, not really. No, I mean, you know, when it comes to news and politics, most people are as they are in news and politics. Ambulance LTD, bro. That was for the Ambulance LTD person, but I can't actually play it, so I'm not gonna. And actually, I can play it. I just haven't played it in a really long time. Cat in the Hat. You said, stop expressing yourself. No one cares. Talk about news. That's why people came here, for unbiased news reporting. And that's what I did for the first hour. And then the stream cut off, and then I even went on for an additional 20-something minutes and made sure I told everybody that if you're here for the politics, thank you all so much for hanging out. And I'm just going to keep the stream going for anybody who wants to hang out, not talking about politics. Thrice. I don't know Thrice. Someone says, fuck this. I'm going over to We Are Change to get some real news. By all means. Like, for those that are watching, like, you know what, I should put a notice, like, the stream is over. Make a graphic that says, usually my streams only last 1 hour, and now I'm doing just an additional bonus. Who is your favorite band? Man, Muse has been one of my favorite bands for a while. Let me see if I can remember how to play that. Muse, probably. I don't listen to a whole lot of their stuff as of late. I really like Fits and the Tantrums. Sandstorm. I do not know any Jack Johnson songs. I barely know any songs at this point because I don't play as much as I used to. But I have a bunch of original songs. You like old Muse just as much as their old stuff? Oh yeah, dude. Muscle Museum. Hysteria is obviously one of their best songs, and their new stuff, Falling Away With You. Yeah, I used to be super good at playing Falling Away With You. What some Muse was that? That was Falling Away With You. That was a cute little lick, Stairway to Heaven. Nope. I can't play Stairway to Heaven anymore. My wife wants you to sing something. It's 9:10 p.m. here, and here's what I'll do. Okay, someone Nefarious sent $5 and requested a song, and Cap Strong sent money as well. So I think I will play you some. All right, now can I do a poll? Cover or original? Cover or original? Whoever says it first wins. And there's a huge delay on live streams, so I have to wait. Congrats, you're a professional musician. I know. You know, while I'm waiting for someone to finally hear what I said, the delay on this makes it really obnoxious when it comes to comments and super chat and all that stuff. You got a like for Stairway for trying to play Stairway. I can play the original that I always play, and I will. Only on TV screens. My heart is made up of broken hopes and dreams to put me back into mediocrity. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways. I guess you never changed that day. It's hard to believe that you mean nothing to me, 'cause you used to be everything. Remember when we used to fight for peace, but heroes were only on TV screens. Market's made up of broken hopes and dreams to put you back into history. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways. I really wished you'd change that day. It's hard to believe that you nothing to me, 'cause you used to be everything. There are words in a book about what we've been through, and there are lines in a script written for me and you. So take it all inside and pray it works. Another aching in your heart starts to burn. Taking more, taking spite of this, and focus on the ways. I really wished you'd change that day. It's hard to believe, but I'm moving on with my dreams, 'cause you were never there for me. There were words in a book about what we've been through, and there are lines in a script written for me and you. So take it all inside and pray it works. Another aching in your heart starts to burn. This is the after live stream special where I play music because we talked for like an hour and a half about politics. Oh man, I'm also a really good skateboarder apparently. Penna Tracy on Music asks me why I'm not swimming in cats. Well, cats make me sneeze. No, I'm not allergic to cats. You know, I was dating someone not too long ago, and we are no longer dating. These things happen. It's all a part of growing up. Julian Assange says that capitalism plus atheism plus feminism results in a lower birth rate. And he got a lot of criticism for that tweet. Capstrong says, you know they're going to burn you alive, right? Multiple threat, articulate, honest, and talented dead meat. Who's going to kill me, Antifa? Daniel DeLaFay, Tim, you have a great voice, Tim. Thanks for sharing. Do you plan on recording any of your original music? I did record music, and it is available. I have a song somewhere for the low price of a $10 per month donation on my on my Minds account. That I'm not trying to sell music, right? And so I thought that for those that were donating like $10, it would be a good little bonus. So can I post links in YouTube? What'll happen if I do that? Will I get in trouble? Did that work? Excuse me. So this is a song that I recorded, and it's an old song that I wrote, and I set it up kind of just, I don't know, music isn't my thing, and I try to make, whoa, I think my computer's about to crash. Or maybe it's finally turned the fan on so it doesn't crash. Can you guys hear that? If my computer crashes, you'll know why. Nope, that was weird. Super chat, son of super chats. Lost a friend to the Antifa Kool-Aid today. This stream has been real therapeutic. P.S. You have a beautiful singing voice. Thank you, Gray Rabbit. Josh Patterson, if you did a song at the end of each stream, that'd be nice. I was doing that. I had a friend, Adam, who when we were living in Miami together, we would play music after we would do these streams. It was a lot of fun. Trinia's, nah. I meant to ask about New versus Old Muse. Not a fan of the last two albums, but could you play Plug-in Baby or Hysteria? Dude, those are like two of my favorite songs by Muse, but I can't play Plug-in Baby. I used to be able to play it, and I've got my Telecaster behind me, but I haven't been on the cover train for a long enough time. I used to know a ton of really awesome covers. I used to go to the Subway in Chicago and busk, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. You need a computer rebuild, mate. I guess so. I guess I should just do it. Just invest in it. Change your fan and thermal paste. It's kind of dumb because it's like a new computer, right? Why would I deal with buying a new computer? You know, I could probably just bring it back to Best Buy and they'll fix it. But I got this hard drive and all of my editing stuff is on it, so... Gus Chicken says, liberals get the bullet too, Tim. Yes. But not liberals that can rock this hard. Yeah, them too. Someone asks, is your intro music something you wrote? I really like it. No, it's from Jingle Punks. So I use Jingle Punks and Epidemic Sound. There, the music library is provided by Fullscreen. Map of the Problematic. Really good song. I love Muse. Stock thermal paste is shit, Tim. Okay. Look, if you're a computer person and you're in New York, why don't you come on down and fix my computer? Greatly appreciated. More music then. This is an hour and 45 minutes into the stream. By all means, anybody who's come for politics knows that at this point it's goofing off. So I apologize if you came in late and missed the show, but you can I'm pretty sure you can rewind all the way to the beginning. You should use one of your original riffs to open your YouTube videos with. You know, I thought about it. I've got a synthesizer that I like with, but at the same time, you know, the music is way better on like from actual libraries. I don't know if somebody watching donated, but really appreciate it. Appreciate the donation. New subscriber on PayPal. But you can play a song while on the treadmill. I can do that. I can skateboard too. I will insure a beanie for every man, woman, and child in the land. I will insure a beanie not just for the men, but for the women and children too. Sing a song about Kim Jong-un. Okay. This is actually an old classic. Kim Jong-un built an H-bomb. He wants to kill us with it. He fired a large rocket over northern Japan, 'cause he's crazy. He's freaking crazy. He wants us to invade. Well, he's crazy. Yeah, he's crazy. He's a cruel dictator to the people in North Korea. Crazy. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was terrible, wasn't it? It's not a beanie, it's a toque. Tim Pool, did you serenade Lacey Green with your musical prowess? No. No, I did not. Lacey's super cool, though. Lacey's great. I've never brought my guitar over to Lacey Green's house. Moonchild says it's so cute how shy Tim gets. Wow, I think that's the first time someone's called me shy. Let's all invade Matt Christensen's stream and demand them let Tim sing a song on their show. Matt's cool. I watch some of his videos. Whoa, this is great. Okay, how about we play music? How about we, an original song. Can we stop to read between the lines? Oh, I screwed up my own song. I ruined my own song. Sorry, guys. You're out of luck. Can we stop to read between the lines and end this deceiving lies they use to mitigate their crimes that I can't believe in? Stop. Listen up, I don't get why it's easier to just forgive and forget what was said as we carry the weights of our debts. But I am sure, I know I'm sure there's nothing else that matters. I know I'm sure, I know I'm sure. First song was great, second one not so much. I screwed up the second one. I kind of just killed it. Sorry, everybody. I ruined it. Play Radiohead. Okay. I don't know if I remember how to play Radiohead. Nope. Sorry, guys. You might know that although I can play the guitar, I don't actually play all that often. Rage Against the Machine. I think I can play this song. Enough and you'd hope to leave your mark or take the road. The dirt shows where the trees cannot grow. But would you say inside? It's like we always knew just where to rest our hearts inside. the hearts of a friend. Shows where the trees cannot grow. Would you sell it all to save yourself? Lies, oh lies, don't concern you. To form a better person inside, it's like we always knew just where to rest our hearts inside the hearts of a friend. Would you sell it all to save yourself? Lies, oh lies, don't concern you. To form a better person inside, it's like we always knew just where to rest our hearts inside the hearts of a friend. Never thought we'd see again. You sold me to save yourself. Kiernoth, the beanie is giving him all the talent. It's where I store it. It's like Samson. When I was younger, a lot of people don't know this, I was walking through a forest preserve with some friends, and we Quint Bromley, getting 5 more for that. Good one, Tim. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we came across what can only be described as an extraterrestrial or possibly extra-dimensional vessel. And, DK 100, thank you very much. And the aliens bestowed upon me a series of beanies which provide different abilities. And so the first beanie I wore gave me precognition, and that allowed me to be at Occupy Wall Street in the right place, the right time. And then I've wore that one for a long time because, precognition is very powerful. But this current beanie gives me the ability to completely copy other people's abilities. So nothing special like precognition, but I can play the guitar. If I take the beanie off, can't play the guitar anymore. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it like encodes powers. I'm totally kidding. Although that would be a funny comic book. Any comic book artists want to make a comic about a guy who gets bestowed a series of beanies from aliens that give him magic powers? Thank you guys all for hanging out and for the super chats. We're just goofing off right now. This is the bonus hour, where actually it's like the bonus half hour. Have you heard about the YouTube protest on September 29th? Show YouTube the power of people. We're tired of creators being censored. Just saw it on Minds. I would have no problem getting on board with that, but I just don't know if people are, like, everyone's going to do it. If the big YouTubers with millions did that, okay, sure. But the issue is not everybody uploads every moment of, they don't upload every day. So will that really impact YouTube? Probably not. All the channels that YouTube doesn't like leave, then YouTube's going to be like, okay, thanks, Tim the Beanie Pool. There's a based Stickman comic? Wow, I didn't know that. Need PewDiePie or no point? Yeah, exactly. But I mean, does PewDiePie upload every day? I think he does. This is more like a cooldown point. Oh man, I'm using mines more and more. I like it. Lucas says, Tim, I have no friends, only alcohol. Thank you for singing and making weird humor. No problem, man. As you can see, I have no friends either. There's nobody here to hang out. I kind of live in a weird, obscure place in the New York metro. I tried to get away from the city. Yeah. But I went into the city today because I did an interview with someone about a lawyer who works with Tor Eklund. They represent a lot of hackers and digital rights and privacy. So, Kashmir. No, I used to be able to play a whole bunch of music, but I can't play no music no more. Sorry. There's a secret though. If you play A minor, F, C, and G, you're basically playing every song ever. Is Tim a grown-up version of Double D? Nah, Double D is too neurotic. I'm too arrogant to be Double D. We are your friends, Luca. That's right. As long as you hang out this stream, we're all friends. 496 straggling friends who don't want to leave the live stream for whatever reason. Are you too stoned? I don't smoke and I don't drink. How about that? I have a better guitar. I'm gonna grab my better guitar. This is like not really the guitar I use. This is the guitar I use. This one might not be tuned though, but this one's way better. The Stratocaustic was the first guitar I ever bought with my own money, and so it's sentimental, but not effective, and it sounds tinny. You need Tim Pool beanies to sell. I've heard that. Doesn't that sound way better? Straight edge. Not straight edge, because I will drink if I have to, you know, for specific events, but I don't smoke. This is the song that I've been working on as of late. Yeah, it's actually the neck is dirty, so my hand's hitting the wrong spots. But let's yeah, it's not in tune either. Actually, it's got a built-in tuner. Tuner's not working. There we go. Write a song about political songs. The guitar neck is too dirty. Bob Marley was 1 in a million. Play Wonderwall. I used to be able to. I used to be really good. B string is sharp. Look at you guys. You're so talented. Chatelet acoustic version. I can learn that. I can't play it right now though. Currently pairing Tim Pool with a nice dry Pinot. 5th fret harmonics. Oh, you know what? I got some I'm very out of practice. Let's see if I can play any music today. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a song that I wrote. And yeah, it goes on like that, but there's no words and, it is what it is. Jason K, I bet Tim gets all the girls. That is true, all of them. Every single one. Somehow knows where I live. Which song is this? For those that are wondering, this is a song that I wrote. And it has no name and it has no lyrics because it's not written for me to sing. It's written for somebody else. And I'm not in a band anymore. And I can't play it right now. What even Tim mixed with? Koreans. Lots and lots of Koreans all mixed up. Green Day. I used to know a ton of Green Day. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? While I'm in drop D, we're going to keep it in drop D. And, another song that I wrote. Once again, not written for me to sing for somebody else, but I am not in a band anymore. So those songs were never finished. Drop D is for people with weak fingers, except if I'm playing standard and I just need some D. Come on, don't hate. What was the name of your band? I don't think we had a name. I started playing music under what was Photo Inc. Photo INC, and then with some friends, Present Company, because Present Company has two meanings. The first, the obvious one, like present company excluded when you're referring to people around you, and the other meaning is a company that makes presents for people. And so that was funny. Tim's Beanie Jams. Everybody wants me to play these songs, and I have no songs to play. See, all of these songs I used to be super good at playing, but I don't play as much as I used to. Jeez, that thing just went to shit quick. Okay, I think I remember how to play this song. Like a fridge, and he's like a detuned radio. Karma police, arrest this girl. Her Hitler hairdo is making me feel ill, but we have crashed her party. You'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us. Karma police, I've given all I can, it's not enough. I've given all I can, but we're still on the payroll. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us. For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. No, for a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. For a minute there, I lost myself. I lost myself. Just tuned in, and what the fuck? Yeah, for those that are just tuning in, we're like at 2 hours and 11 minutes. I don't even know what's going on anymore. The political stuff ended a long time ago. This is the bonus stuff. After show. This is the after party. Yeah, you know, look, you work hard. You talk about nasty stuff. You gotta play hard. You know what that means too? It means y'all are gonna get an even, for making it past 2 hours, you guys are getting an even bigger bonus. Check this out. Get ready. It's coming right now. Let me just pull up this right here. Super chat, can you do Iris by Google Does? I can't. But for those that have stuck by, you get this bonus. Didn't work. This bonus. That's it. Congratulations. You get to look at some silky chickens. How were the silky chickens? Was it everything you could have hoped for and more? Who else is drinking? Make a radical centrist song. Okay. Shall I use some boring chords? Just hit wrong button and randomly came here. Fucking awesome tune, man. Thank you, sir, for the super chat and also accidentally coming here. Chickens! Yes, silky chickens. They are like some of the funniest creatures on the planet. They have no eyes. How do they see anything? What are they? They're birds, but they're fluffy. So strange, but hilarious. And actually, that yard they're in looks like my yard in Miami. That's kind of weird. My life is now complete. Yes, that's a chicken. Those are chickens. Dude, chickens are hilarious. They're really dumb, but chickens are awesome. I love chickens. They taste great, too. I am not above eating animals. A radical centrist song. Baby, I'm a centrist. Oh my god, that's brilliant. I'm gonna write this. Do you guys know Against Me? Times, through the worst of times, through Nixon and through Bush. Do you remember 36? We went our separate ways. You fought for Stalin, I fought for freedom. That song is Baby, I'm an Anarchist. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the lyrics to be Baby, I'm a Centrist. You know what, surprisingly, though, one of the lyrics in Baby, I'm an Anarchist is you fought for Stalin and I fought for freedom. It's kind of funny because the anarchists currently are aligned with the communists, which makes almost no sense. Like, I don't really understand that. And that they don't consider the anarcho-capitalists to be anarchists. I thought you were openly leftist. Yes, I am. Baby, I'm a centrist. Because, baby, I'm a centrist, and you're a violent extremist. Centrist. How do you play it? I gotta write that. Because, baby, I'm a constitutional libertarian. Beanie Babies. I'm gonna write a parody called Baby, I'm a Centrist. And I think I'm gonna write it now. You know what? I think I'm gonna let this stream run for another 10 minutes until we hit 10. And then my neighbors might start complaining at me. Complaining to me. Complaining at me? Does that make sense? You know what? For those that have tuned in, I'm going to let you all in a big secret. Facebook attack vector. This is some gosh darn honest reporting that's going to come at the back end of this live stream. So let's set everything back up the way it should be. And I'm going to tell y'all about the secret, not so secret, attack vector on Facebook. So, what if I said there was a way to get anyone permanently banned from Facebook? That Facebook would ban anyone that you said, you know what, I want this person banned. Gone off Facebook. Name a page. Any page. You want it removed? Done. You want the individual who runs that page. Well, getting rid of the page is more complicated, but you want to get rid of the admin of these pages. You want to make it so that nobody can use their Facebook anymore. Very, very simple. And the reason this is serious is because Facebook is, everybody's got a Facebook. Everybody uses Facebook. And if you were not allowed to be on Facebook, that could be seriously detrimental for your functioning in society. Now, the suspense is over. Here's how you do it. Actually, disclaimer first. I am not telling anyone to do this, nor am I advocating this behavior. This behavior is a violation of Facebook terms of service and is possibly criminal, so do not do this. But I want to let everyone know it exists in hopes that Facebook fixes this because it's targeted me and my friends, and I have told Facebook about it, and they have not fixed it, and they denied it even exists. So here's what happens. Add someone as a friend, right? you're friends with somebody, and then actually, let me just tell you what they did. Somebody created an account and added a bunch of independent media. This is years ago. Years ago. Once everyone was friends with this person, they created a page, okay, a Facebook page, and made everyone an administrator of that page. You do not need permission, and you do not need to accept administration, right? If I go into Facebook right now, I can make any one of you admins if you are friends of mine on Facebook. You will not notice. You will get no notification. You might get a notification. But ultimately, I can do this without your permission. So let's say at 2 in the morning, while you're sleeping, I add you to a page, and then I post something that violates the terms of service. In this case, someone posted a bunch of really offensive things about, animal husbandry, to be polite. And what ended up happening? Something like 300 people got banned on Facebook. I received a 24-hour suspension with no appeal. And so I contacted people who work for big news organizations, this is years ago, and said, I need a contact at Facebook for what happened. They contacted with somebody who refused to lift the ban or even investigate and claimed, Tim, what you're describing isn't possible and we will not be looking into this. To reiterate, I've got over 5,000 friends on Facebook. I just accept people. Someone added me, then made me an administrator to a page without my permission, and then posted things that violated the terms of service, resulting in my banning because I was an admin to this page as well. And these attacks have continued for over 4 years, with Facebook refusing to take action about this. Mr. Nicktown, thank you for the super chat. Bonus time. He says, F Zuck. I try to limit the swearing. I swear sometimes, but I try to limit that because people get mad when I swear. I've actually had people email me saying, Tim, you swear too much. And I'm like, dude, I barely ever swear. Are you serious? So yes, there it is. I have had people, targeting me. And it still happens because some people I know have been targeted with this attack recently. And I mean like within the past day or so. Facebook won't do anything about it. Don't care. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make a video about this for a couple days or something. Aaron Sesker says, and beanie off. I'll tell you what, if someone super chats $10,000 right now, I'll take my beanie off. $10,000. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I want to do a fundraiser for the beanie removal. Just because it's like a meme. It's like everyone's like, Tim, take the beanie off. Yeah, okay. Like, I'll do a fundraiser for some event, and if it hits a threshold, I'll do it. Someone says, are you serious? They just don't really care about it. Communism is communism. Communism is communism. Enlightened Triolite says he can't remove his beanie. His reptilian skin is very light sensitive. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, well, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I want to say thank you all to everybody who tuned in, despite my computer blowing up in the middle of it, and hanging out for the extra bonus, almost an hour. For $5,000, I'll track him, bust in the room, and steal his beanie. You probably won't be able to locate me. It will not happen. Adams L says, Tim, do you think people should be held to higher standards when citing sources? Man, there's so many sources that are good and so many sources that are bad, so people cite sources they trust, but it doesn't mean they're correct. It's a challenge, right? 10,000 US dollars. Honestly, I think, I should do something, I don't know. Max allowed is 500? That's not true, is it? Can I send a super chat to myself? Is 500 the maximum? Oh, it is! Really? So you'll have to send 500 20 times. There you go. Where's Rachel? Rachel's not here anymore. Rachel went away. Rachel's gone. Rachel's off doing her thing. I only somewhat peripherally know her. She's a friend of my friend, so she comes and hangs out whenever. Luca says, I just watched Tim stream for 2 hours. 2 hours and 21 minutes. Tim, you are not able to track me. /poll challenge accepted. Honestly, in a non-offensive way, if someone could find out my current address, that would actually be really beneficial to me because as far as I know, for the time being, my address, I took more security measures on my current address. So if you do the general searches, like I'm really good at like doxing and pulling up public records and things like that. I'll just be straight up. The current address listed for me in various different locations is a false address. So, not like it matters. I don't think the people who are watching this are going to spread it far and wide. But in case there's like crazy people who might be watching this as well, I guess it doesn't matter. Here's me violating OPSEC. I have seeded false addresses in a lot of these records that get sold out to people. So maybe in a few months, someone might discover my current address. I would be pretty impressed if someone were able to find my current address right now, or even within the next couple months. Seriously. I suggest Streamlabs or whatever the drunken peasant uses, so Google, YouTube doesn't get 30% of super chats. Streamlabs, huh? Is that through YouTube though? Someone told me that the other day. Pay the rent. That's what they say. They say, spotlight your viewers, grow your channel, pay the rent. Log in to get started. Oh, what is this? Log in with YouTube. Uh-oh. The live stream might get shut down because I'm doing this thing someone told me to do, just so you guys know. Streamlabs wants to do a bunch of stuff. I will allow it. Interesting. What is Streamlabs? Oh, this is fascinating. It's showing my super chat revenue right now. Well, gosh darn it, isn't that wonderful? Is this legit? I don't believe this. Holy. It's saying that right now for this stream in 2 hours, there's been over $300 in super chat. Already someone doxing Tim, making him go to a website. No, I went to YouTube gets 30%, something like that. Do not tempt fate. My last address was easily found, and like nothing happened. I don't care. Like I'm not telling people to like destroy my life. I'm just saying I would actually be impressed if someone found my address. That'd be crazy. So who knows how to use this Streamlabs stuff? How does this work? My donations. There's a URL. Okay. Streamlabs.com/Timcast. What is this? Gaming.youtube.com. I have no payment methods enabled. Okay, well, what is this chicanery? I guess I'll have to figure out how to set that up. Gotta love Python and APIs. Yeah, YouTube apparently takes a big chunk of the super chat, which was like, dude, when I found out about that, I was like, whoa, that's kind of messed up. Because people think they're donating, to the streamers. They don't realize that they're giving most of their money to YouTube. That's why I can't believe that's true. That's like, it's a really weird legal gray area, right? Do alt-right or Antifa harass you more? Antifa harasses me the most. They're crazy people. They make videos making lies about me. They've claimed that, like, they spread a rumor that I stole $80,000 from Occupy Wall Street. Just, like, really ridiculous nonsense that makes no sense. Who is your favorite philosopher? I don't know. None of them. I don't know. Maximus98351. I will not destroy your life if you take the beanie off. That seems worth 10 grand. Is that a threat? Tim, you need to accept bit beans. I don't know what that is. He lives at 123 Main Street. All right, I'll tell you what. Tim, do you live by that cop shooting? I used to live on the street where the cops were killed, 1 block over. So my street was shut down, like surrounded by cops. Chris Toon says everything is like that. Commissions on securities trades, everything. Yeah, but taking 30% of a super chat is bonkers, man. Hard Bastard uses Streamlabs. How do I use Streamlabs? I can ban donors. This is really interesting because it shows me super chat. I'm looking at it right now and it says super chat revenue. And I'm like, is that from today? Is it possible that in this 2 hours, $300 in super chat came in? It doesn't seem, I can't believe that, right? Do you guys believe that? I mean, there's a 50 and 20 in there. I don't believe it. Do a video on skateboarding. I did. I can go skateboarding tomorrow. Tim, why do you use Litecoin and Ethereum? Don't you know they get hacked like every week like clockwork? yeah, you know, it's an option. Some people like using it, so it's available. I want to figure out how to do this donation settings. Oh, interesting. I can connect my PayPal. Oh, this is fantastic. Hey, there we go. Okay, this Streamlabs thing is up, I think. Really? What is this? Your effect? What the hell? Okay, who knows how to use Streamlabs? Gaming.youtube.com. Press start. I don't. Right now, you're staring at me as I try to navigate. Oh, look at this! Timcast Live. YouTube Gaming. Hey, there's me. And there's all the comments. Interesting. Oh, and there's all my videos. You know, have you noticed, like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Hey, good advice on the Streamlabs stuff. So now, how does the Streamlabs stuff work for people who want to donate so I can get off the super chat nonsense? Right? Your nickname, Tim Pool. Okay. This is a test. What is this? What is this nonsense? Is this gonna play a thing? I'm donating to myself. Whoa. Oh, hold on there. What was that nonsense? Okay, yeah, this is bullshit. I'm out. So I don't know what Streamlabs is, but it tried making me sign up for a monthly membership. Is Tim Pool your real name? Yes, it is. You know what's interesting? Casey Neistat's wife's maiden name or current name last name is Pool, and I saw that Casey was tweeting out that his father-in-law, Candace's dad, is in Houston, and his last name is Pool, and I was like, wait a minute. My dad's family, Pool, are from Texas, not too far from Houston. In fact, many of them live in Houston and Dallas, and I'm like, that's weird, right? But apparently no, she's from South Africa or something. But I was like, oh, that's really weird. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin, Tim? Do you think it will keep climbing? Yes, I do. I do believe it will keep climbing because I think it's, I do think Bitcoin is undervalued. Holy smokes, did Bitcoin Cash just explode? No, it wasn't Bitcoin Cash. Something just popped off, and what the hell was it? Nope, nothing. What the hell happened? Bitcoin Cash is up by a few percentage points. Strange. Oh, that's what it was. I assumed something went up, but someone sent me some Bitcoin. Wow. Well, thank you for the Bitcoin. Greatly appreciated. I was like, how is my accounts are not showing an increase, but oh, it's a pending deposit. Have you heard of Verite? I have not. Anybody have any? Okay, so I'm trying out Streamlabs, but when I try to donate, it tells me that I have to pay a monthly fee. So it doesn't make sense if I'm trying to get people to donate to me if they have to pay a fee to some other company, because it just defeats the purpose of, right? This is the URL to your tip page where viewers can send you donations. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give this a shot. Let's try this out. Let me know what you guys think. There, I posted a link in the comment section, streamlabs.com/timcast. and apparently you can donate, and I tried doing it, but it wanted me to pay or something. What is the name of your cryptocurrency website you use? That I will not tell anybody. Tim's puzzled facial expression. Bitcoin Dark is up over 50%. Let's see, BTC has gone up 200 in the past 4 hours. You're getting hacked, Timmy. My getting hacked what? Doggery-doo. So does anybody figure out how the Streamlab things works? Streamlabs. You know what else? Someone want to throw a super chat in real quick? I could super chat myself. Let's super chat myself. Am I allowed to do that? Okay, I super chatted myself. Does this thing calculate super chat revenue accurately? No, it appears not. So I don't know what this thing is supposed to be doing. It's cool. It looks cool. It looks like YouTube subscribers, sponsors, super chat. I don't know. Maybe it does. I can't tell. Oh, interesting. So I guess it does actually calculate the super chats. I feel like the amount of money they're claiming that I pulled in can't be correct. Ah, more super chats. Thank you for the super chats. I super chatted myself, but you know, appreciate it. First YouTuber I've seen super chat themselves. Mad respect. Thank you. Yeah, right. At this point, I'm just chilling. And I figure I keep the stream rolling. Maybe I will get a guinea pig and just put it right here on the desk and point the camera at it. That sounds like a good idea, right? YouTube gaming. YouTube gaming looks pretty cool. But I don't understand why when I try to donate through Streamlabs, it says you gotta pay extra money. I don't know what this means. Oh, I see. I see. All right, well, let's... What? Oh, okay, here we go. I think the donation link works now. Oh, okay, interesting. Well, you're staring at my face while I set up all this donation stuff. Choose your country. I am in the United States of America. Behind the scenes as Tim sets up his business stuff. In order to continue processing credit cards for you, you have to give us all of your personal and private information so that we can track you. Okay. Agreed. Whoa. Oh. All right, that's getting a little bit too... too complicated for now. Though I probably should test it with Super Chat. It has to be configured correctly, but don't donate through Super Chat. Wow. I feel really dumb because I feel like a lot of people who have been watching me have been giving money needlessly to YouTube. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stop streaming because it's been a long time. It has been 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I have to go to bed. And then I have to wake up and edit a video. But thank you all so much for hanging out. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep the stream rolling just for a little bit because I'm still going to keep working trying to figure out the Streamlabs stuff. But you'll probably just end up staring at my face. So feel free to, and I'll come back in a second as I go about doing some work. This is weird. Okay. Wait, maybe I did it. I am doing a test currently. Ah, okay. All right, I think it works. I am still doing a test on this donation thing, and the reason I don't want to turn the stream off just yet is because I would just have to do the test the next time I streamed anyway, so considering I'm doing this long stream, it makes more sense for me to just test the donation system, see if it works, and then log out. Okay. Well, I can't figure this crap out. I'd figure it out some other time. If someone would like, if you intend on sending a super chat, how about someone help me out and just try out the Streamlabs URL, because it says it like makes fancy things happen, and that's what I'm trying to see if a fancy thing will happen. Because if I can replace super chat, I will. So Streamlabs, I'm setting it up and trying to figure out if it works. I could take the stream down now, but and yeah, let me spam this link. And then I'm gonna cut the stream off after this. But again, if I stop the stream now, the next time I stream, I'll still have to run these tests, and that would be more obtrusive than just doing it now while I'm on the back end of a stream that's almost 3 hours long. So if anyone, wants to click this, I don't know, there's a delay. It's not letting me do it because I'm the account holder. I can't donate to myself for some reason unless I set some stuff up. But if it doesn't work, I don't want to use it, so I'm just trying to get a test through to see if it works. I don't think it's accurately calculating this information. Yeah, I don't know. All right, well, I'll figure this stuff out. Thank you all so much for hanging out. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TimCast. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for new videos every single day. You can support my work by going to timcast.com/donate. Give whatever you like, give nothing at all. My videos are always free and available at 4 p.m. every single day. Give Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or Bitcoin Cash. Crypto is greatly preferred. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. I could probably be one of those radio commercial guys. But in all seriousness, thanks for hanging out for almost 3 hours. I'll see you maybe tomorrow, next time I do a stream. Should be soon. I might get on a plane to Korea. We'll see what happens. Later.